Hey everybody, this is Pooka from the Top Cut, and today I'm bringing you round 7 from the Indiana Regionals between Dustin Zimmerman on the right and Matthew Kish on the left. Now at this point, both of these players are 6-0, so this is the feature match for the round. Both players are undefeated, and we're going to see who moves on to 7-0 and who drops down to 6-1. Who wins between these two undefeated players, who shows dominance and proves himself as the better player moving forward. So, right off the bat, we got some action. We have Dustin playing a catcher, bringing up the Magnemite because Magnemite does have a retreat cost. And one of the factors for a Yanmega Magnezone deck is that you have to have a bunch of energy in play to use Lost Burn on Magnezone Prime. So, Dustin knows that. He's just going to play catcher, force him to burn energy to retreat right off the bat. And we see he has 2 Zoruas and 2 Yanmas on the bench. Played an Oak's New Theory, and it looks like he's playing a Pokegear and gets a Charon. Now, one thing I want to mention right off the bat is our camera angle did not really catch everything. As you can see, we didn't really get Dustin's deck and his discard pile, which is a little unfortunate, but we'll work with what we got. And it looks like he's played a bunch of trainers. He's played a Pokegear, a catcher, and a Plus Power. Didn't really use any of them, but what he's doing is setting up for later. You know, if he draws a Junk Arm, he can just have access to any of those at any point, and he just wants to have them in the discard pile. So, we see an Eek, a double colorless onto Zorua, the Cleffa stays asleep, and we'll have to see what happens on Matthew's end. We did see Dustin went first, so right off the bat he will have that small advantage, being able to do everything quickly. We see a communication from Matthew, and we'll see how strong of a start he'll have. Now let's take a second to just look at Dustin's deck. All you see right now are a couple of Zoruas, some Yanmas. You might be thinking it's a normal Stage 1 deck, but there's no Donphan in this version. Instead, he plays a Weavile in order to claw snag things out of the opponent's hand, and it's just trying to disrupt your opponent with such a quick deck. You know, you have Stage 1 attackers, Yanmega, Zoroark. He also plays Boof a lot when his things get knocked out for a quick 90 from Revenge. So he's just trying to disrupt his opponent, make sure they never really get set up completely, because if they do, his attackers are kind of weak. The most HP he has would be 110 on Yanmega, and honestly, that's not a whole lot. So he just has to kind of hope that his opponent doesn't really have a whole lot, and Weavile helps you. You know, you can discard the supporter from your opponent's hand. He doesn't have a Sneasel on the bench right now, but we might be seeing one soon. And we do see an energy on the Magnemite. We saw Matthew got a Cleffa, and he's going to copycat. Now we got the Cleffa just as kind of a safeguard, just in case he didn't get a very good hand. And we're going to see him copycat for 6. It just leaves him an option in case the copycat goes bad to retreat and Eek and get a good hand. So if he does have a good hand, he'll probably just magnetic switch to Yanma. If not, we'll see him retreat and Eek. And alright, so we can see our camera angle is improving a little bit. Now we can get a better glimpse of the whole area. We'll see Dustin's little Whooper on top there too, the little action figure. Alright, so now Matthew is trying to make a decision here. Does he want to... Okay, so he's going to magnetic switch. Now, usually you would go to Yanma in this situation, but instead he decides to go to his Magnemite. Now, it's a little puzzling, but Dustin's Cleffa did stay asleep. He will not be able to really put on any pressure this turn unless he has a switch in his hand. And I'm not sure if he even plays a switch, so that Cleffa might just be stuck there. Now, it's interesting that Matthew decided to magnetic switch into Magnemite because Magnemite has a retreat cost, and I can see the logic of not wanting to lose your Yanma. That I can understand. But in that case, you might as well just magnetic switch to Cleffa, because if a Yanmega is going to be attacking you, it's going to be able to linear attack the Cleffa anyway, and then Cleffa has a free retreat cost, so I think you're better off there magnetic switching to Cleffa, but probably not that big of a difference in this situation because the Cleffa for Dustin stayed asleep, and it's still asleep, So we're going to see Matthew under no real pressure. He gets kind of a free turn to set up. Now, it's kind of scary because Dustin went first. He had the first opportunity to attack with Yanmega, but now that's gone. Cleffa stayed asleep, he couldn't retreat, and we're going to see Matthew have an opportunity to set up here. And if he gets a quick Magnezone, that's going to be a lot of trouble for Dustin. His deck doesn't have real options to deal with Magnezone. You know, most Stage 1 decks will run Donphan Prime because it's a fighting type. It can take down a Magnezone Prime pretty easily with Earthquake with a plus power or Heavy Impact. But when you just have Yanmega, who's weak to Lightning, and Zoroark, which can only copy a defending Pokemon's attacks, you don't really have a simple answer to a Magnezone Prime. And basically what you can see happen is Magnezone just roll through the deck like that. So we're going to have to see how quick this Magnezone comes into play, how far behind Dustin might fall. But if there's no Magnezone this turn, Dustin's going to be fine, I think. And now we see a Collector from Matthew. He's grabbing a Yanma, a Horsey, and we'll see if there's a third Pokemon involved here. Nope, just going to stick with 2. Now we're going to see, is he going to use those for communication? Is he just going to play him down? And yep, looks like he plays down the Horsey and the Yanma. So now we have a field of 2 Magnemites, a Yanma, a Yanmega, a Horsey, and a Cleffa. Now, a Kingdra Prime is very threatening for a Stage 1 deck with low amounts of hit points. For the most part, the threatening thing is, once that Kingdra Prime hits the field, a Spray Splash and a linear attack from his own Yanmega can knock out any of Dustin's Yanmas, because it can put 10 on the Yanma and 40 from a linear attack. That will allow it to knock out any Yanmas in one hit, basically making it so Dustin will never be able to get Yanmas into the field again, and he'll be stuck with just those Yanmegas. So, Dustin's #1 priority here might be to take out that Horsey. It's a scary card to see because you never want that Spray Splash to start adding up damage on your field. But alright, we're going to see a catcher bring up a Yanma, and then a Charen for 3. And we'll see if Dustin can match the hand sizes here. Alright, looks like he has 6 in his hand, and that's, yep, 6 after an Eek from Matthew. That will be even hand sizes, activated Insight. So a Yanma will go down. And, you know, we didn't see a Magnezone the previous turn, or even a Magnemite. So, we're going to have to see how good Matthew's hand was off that Eek. You know, he's got to be feeling the pressure now. He's down a prize. If he doesn't get a Magnezone out this turn, he might be down another prize. It's going to be hard to tell. So, he's got that Cleffa active, so he'll be able to Eek still. And, ooh, there's a Twins. So, that's going to give him access to that Rare Candy, Magnezone, and we should start seeing the momentum swing back into Matthew's favor. He's going to be able to get Magnezone into play, be able to use Magnetic Draw. He'll have that huge 140 hit point Magnezone Prime at his disposal, and this is not something you want to see if you're Dustin. I can't think this is a situation he wants to be in. You might want to be ahead one more prize before something like this starts happening, but hey, here we are. There's the Rare Candy and the Magnezone. So, we're going to have to see what kind of a game plan Dustin goes for here. There's no way he can ever knock out that Magnezone Prime in one hit, unless he puts a bunch of energy in play and uses Zoroark to copy Lost Burn, which isn't a very efficient way to deal with Magnezone. The other way would be just to 2-hit it. You know, you can hit it twice with Yanmega, Sonic Boom, or maybe the Bouffalant that's in his deck as well. Either way, you're not getting a very efficient trade, so the best route might be just to try to catch her weak things, get a prize advantage, and then try to win the game. So, we do see Matthew Eek again. Dustin had a 7-card hand size, which could not be matched because Magnetic Draw only allows you to get 6. He had to use his supporter on Twins, so he could not match hand sizes. He cannot attack with his own Yanmega. So Dustin's going to have another turn here to basically take a free shot at his field. And we're going to have to see how exactly he goes about it. So, first of all, we're going to have to see if this Cleffa wakes up, which it does. Alright, so at the very least, Dustin should be able to take a prize this turn. Unless he decides to target down some other stuff. Either way, he's gonna get a free attack again. He's already had one free attack with no response. He's gonna get another free attack here. And this is kind of what he needs. He cannot fight this Magnezone Prime head-on on even footing because he's just gonna fall behind. He's not gonna be able to keep up. So at this point, can't really tell what's in Dustin's hand, but he does have those two Yanmegas. He'll probably be able to even the hand sizes. That should not be a problem. We do see a Junk Arm. And yep, he'll just be able to discard 2 cards and then get the Pokemon catcher, I would imagine. That will allow him to bring up either Magnemite or Horsey. Okay, so he's discarding a Collector and a Juniper. Getting a catcher. Now what we're seeing here is the card that's pretty much defined the format, Pokemon Catcher. It makes it so no Pokemon on your bench is safe at any point in the game. It can just be brought up with a simple Pokemon Catcher. Your poor little Magnemites, your Horseys, even your Yanmas, they're not safe from the wrath of Pokemon Catcher. And that's what we're going to see here. Catcher on Horsey. Now it's interesting to note that Dustin is ignoring the Magnemite and the Magnezone. And he's going for the other attackers. He's going for the Horsey, and he went for the Yanma before. So, we are going to see a copycat as well, so evening hand size will not be a problem. You know, most players would go for the Energy, the Magnemites, the Magnezone. But Dustin has decided to pick off these little attackers, get a prize lead, and then hopefully be able to deal with the Magnezone, and maybe Matthew will just run out of energy if he just keeps using Lost Burn. So we're going to have another Sonic Boom for a knockout. And Dustin will be ahead 2 prizes. But, like I said, that Magnezone is not going to be easy to deal with. You know, Dustin has not built energy into play. So that Zoroark option is not there yet to copy Lost Burn for a knockout. He just doesn't have that opportunity yet. Maybe if he spends time building more energy into play. You know, it's tough when you're playing just a normal Stage 1 deck where you don't have that Magnezone Prime at your disposal. You don't always get to play all the cards from your hand because you need to even the hand sizes, and you don't have something like Magnetic Draw to help you out. So we're going to see a Judge from Matthew, and that could impact the game quite a bit. He's going to be able to bring Dustin down to 4 cards, and then he'll be able to Magnetic Draw himself up to 6, and then take a knockout. Now that can make it difficult for Dustin to even the hand sizes and use Yanmega Prime to attack back. But we'll have to see what route Matthew decides to go with. Because he's got Yanmega and he's got Magnezone. Now Magnezone obviously is the stronger attacker in this situation. But in the long run you might run out of energy if you just don't really use anything besides Lost Burn. So that's something you got to worry about. Now he's going to promote Magnezone Prime. Let's see what he does here. Alright, throwing down another Magnemite. And we'll see a Magnetic Draw for 3. He's already attached an energy for the turn, so there's no problem there. And there we go, we're going to see Lost Burn for 200 damage and a knockout. So now this is the scary part for Dustin. Magnezone is knocking on his door. He's got to deal with it. It's not going anywhere. The only real chance he's got is if Matthew runs out of energy. You know, he's going to have to Lost Burn 2 every time, unless he has a plus power for the Yanmega, or catches out Cleffa or something like that. Otherwise, it's just going to be 2 every time for Lost Burn, and he's going to run out of energy, so that's definitely a concern. Now we see Dustin put down a plus power, and he did play down that Bouffalant as well. So he's gonna try for a double colorless energy, I would think. He's playing a supporter. Not sure what it was. Probably an Oak's New Theory or a copycat. We'll figure out what that was pretty soon, I would think. Depending on whether he draws 6 or 7. And he'll be able to even the hand sizes no matter what. That I know for a fact. He'll be able to use Sonic Boom if he wants to. So 4, 5, 6, Alright, so that was an Oak's new theory. Let's see what else we get from Dustin. We got the double colorless on Bouffalant, so he's going to decide to revenge this turn for 100, I would think. Leaving that Magnezone Prime with 40 hit points left, which is sort of big because it can then be knocked out by a linear attack if Matthew would decide to switch and put the Magnezone on the bench. Dustin also puts down another Yanma. And he's thinking about it. Doesn't really have any options because the hand size is not even anymore. His only attack option is to revenge with Bouffalant for 100 with that plus power. So now Matthew, even though he's still down a prize, he's got that giant Magnezone Prime. He's really looking okay. The big obstacle is going to be how much energy does he get into play. It's not going to be easy to keep up with this stuff. You know, having to Lost Burn off of his bench Magnemite, that was kind of a pain. He's going to have to attach to his active Magnezone, which he's already done, and use Lost Burn. Alright, so we're going to see a catcher bringing out Yanmega from Dustin. You know, I'm not really sure why he would do that, considering Bouffalant is just going to come up again and revenge for a knockout, but he did decide to go for the Yanmega, probably figuring it's a more versatile attacker, and he just wants to get that out of the field. Figures linear attack could probably knock out that Clef eventually, so I just want to take those out of play. Alright, so we're going to see a communication for another Magnezone, and this Magnezone is going to give him 2 magnetic draws every turn, which is really kind of the scary part when you're facing the Magnezone Yanmega deck. It allows you to really burn through your deck pretty quickly and draw pretty much any card you would want. You're going to be using magnetic draw over and over. You're going to be refilling your hand to 6, playing down cards, refilling your hand to 6, so if you're trying to find a junk arm or a catcher or a switch or something, you'll be able to find it pretty easily within a matter of 1 to 2 turns, just because you'll be able to keep cycling through your deck so quickly. So now, we're going to see Pachirisu come down, which is a little shocking. You know, he already played the energy for the turn on his active, and now Pachirisu comes down with the lightning. Not too sure what was going through his head there, but he's going to Lost Burn 2 from his active, and now that Pachirisu is kind of a target. You know, if Dustin has a Pokemon catcher, he's going to target down Pachirisu, I would think. But actually, he doesn't even have to. There's no threat of a Magnezone using Lost Burn at this point, unless Matthew plays a card like Energy Switch or Shaman to move the energy off Pachirisu. You know, I'm not really sure why he did that so quickly. Usually you wait until you have 2 lightning energy in your hand to use Pachirisu, but in this case he just dropped it down with 1 lightning, and it's gonna have a big bullseye on it because, you know, that's the only thing in play with energy, and Dustin's got to be looking at that thinking, that's something I would like to get rid of. You know, without energy, all he's gonna be able to do is use Yanmega Prime, and when you're just using Yanmega, and your opponent has Yanmega as well, the person who has the prize lead usually comes out on top because, well, you're doing the same thing, just one guy is ahead. So, we'll see what Dustin does here. He has lost 2 Yanmegas already. We'll see if he gets a 3rd one. I can see there's a Pokemon catcher in his hand. We'll see if he decides to save that or simply knock out the active. You know, there is 100 damage on the active Magnezone. Alright, so we're going to see a catcher, and he'll bring out another Magnezone, the one on the bench, with no damage on it. And now, we can start to see a little plan forming here. Now, Dustin does play a Jirachi, the one with Stardust Song that lets you flip 3 coins when you put it into play, and for each heads, you get a Psychic Energy from your discard pile, and attach them to Jirachi. And then Time Hollow, for each energy attached to Jirachi, lets you de-evolve one of your opponent's Pokemon. So what he's going to try to do is spread out some damage. He's already got 100 on that bench Magnezone. He's going to hit this one for 90 with Revenge, I would think. And then he can just use Jirachi to de-evolve both of them and get a nice turn where he gets multiple knockouts. So, right now we saw Dustin use a supporter to get some stuff. We got a Yanmega Prime. Not sure if he can even the hand sizes. If not, he'll just use Revenge. And it looks like once again we'll have a Revenge from Bouffalant. He's a very angry bull. And, well, I guess he's a buffalo, huh? That's kind of silly. So, the Afro Buffalo will have his revenge for his fallen comrade. And we're going to see Magnezone, both of them damaged quite heavily, in range for Jirachi's Time Hollow if it comes to that. So we are tied on prizes at this point. And we only have one energy in play. So I'm not really sure what Matthew's plan is going to be here. You know, he can catch her for a few free prizes on Zorua and then Cleffa. But if Dustin ever gets that Jirachi, it's going to be a tough thing to deal with if you're Matthew. You can't really avoid it unless he plays something like Max Potion or just a normal potion or Life Herb, I'm not sure. So we're going to see a Junk Arm out of Matthew. See what he gets. Probably a Switch. That would be my guess. Now the problem here is, even if he takes knockouts, that Bouffalant's going to be right there. She's just going to revenge him for 90 again. And it's going to be spreading even more damage. And eventually, that Jirachi will come out and have a massive turn. You know, you can use double colorless energy on that Jirachi and de-evolve multiple Pokemon for each energy on the Jirachi. So, Dustin's strategy at this point seems fairly obvious. He's going to spread damage, and then he's going to de-evolve whatever he can, and hope that's enough for a win. So right now we have Yanmega active for Matthew. We see a Magneton as well. He's going to need a catcher this turn, otherwise he's going to have to go for Cleffa. And nope, looks like he's going to Sonic Boom the Bouffalant, which could also be a problem for Dustin. Because, you know, Bouffalant's great when your opponent's knocked out one of your Pokemon, but otherwise it's just going to sit there doing, well, 20 damage, so which is not the greatest. And he also has a 2 retreat cost, which is kind of a pain. You know, he's going to have to discard that double colorless energy, and then if it gets catchered up, it's stuck with that 2 retreat cost again. And alright, we're going to see a Junk Arm from Dustin. We'll see what exactly this is for. You know, he might be trying to just go with the fact that Bouffalant is active. He might be going for a catcher, and then a plus power. He could revenge that Cleffa for a knockout. That would be my guess. But no, looks like he's going for a communication. Alright, so his other option is to retreat, and then use Zoroark to just hit the active Yanmega for 70, setting up for another Jirachi knockout. He could also linear attack Cleffa on the bench for a prize. Zoroark can use Foul Play to copy any of its opponent's attacks, meaning he does not need to even the hand size, as long as he can pay for Foul Play's attack cost. He can just knock out a Cleffa or hit the active for 70. I'm not sure if he would want to go a different route, but that's where he is right now. So, we are tied at 4-4 prizes. You know, we started off pretty quickly, but now here we are. The game kind of slowed down. There's a lot of damage on the board, but not much else. And we do see a Juniper from Dustin, sorry. So he's gonna refill his hand size, and he's really gonna be in okay shape. You know, if things go according to plan, if he pulls off that miracle Jirachi at the end, looks like it's in his favor. But if for some reason he cannot use this Jirachi, he is going to be at a complete disadvantage because, well, there's a whole lot of stuff on Matthew's side, and he's going to start taking prizes eventually, and it's just not going to be pretty. So, we do see Dustin get another Zoroark into play, so he's going to be able to Foul Play at some point, but we're going to see what he does this turn. Depending on what he has, I would assume he'll hit something with with a Pokemon not named Bouffalant. So it looks like he can even the hand sizes. He's going to promote Yanmega. And he will either Sonic Boom... Oh, he's thinking about it. Alright, so he's going to send up Zoroark instead. And use Foul Play. And which attack will he copy? He could use Sonic Boom on the active, but he decides to go for Cleffa, bringing himself down to 3 prizes, which is a fine play. Now, at this point, his Jirachi strategy is even more powerful. He just has to hit one more Pokemon, and then put it into the range for Time Hollow, and then it just needs one de-evolution on 3 Pokemon and the game's over. So, this is good long-term strategy from Dustin. I'm not sure what Matthew can do to really avoid it. All he's got to do is try to take prizes as quickly as possible. Maybe keep playing Judges to limit Dustin's hand size. I don't believe he's played any Psychic Energy and gotten them in the discard pile. So that's going to be a problem. And I don't really know what's next. We're going to see another Twins from Matthew, but I'm not really sure what else he could grab from his deck at this point. If there was a Max Potion or a Potion, something that can heal damage, that would be huge. That would be something that would probably make Dustin cringe. But most people don't play those cards. We're going to have to see what he went for off this Twins. Alright, we're going to see him drop a Lightning onto the fresh Magnezone. At this point, he's got 3 magnetic draws to work with. So he's going to be burning through stuff like crazy. We see Dustin does have, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Looks like he's got 6 cards in his hand. Alright, and yep, he's just going to linear attack the Bouffalant. Decided I've had enough of that thing, and we're going to take that out of play forever. So right now we're tied at 3 prizes. Dustin's going to be able to set up for another Time Hollow knockout. It's just a matter of getting his Psychic Energy into the discard so he can actually use Stardust Song with Jirachi. And then de-evolving the Pokemon. So right now, we do see Zoroark has that double colorless. There's no real other energy in play. Not too sure how many Psychic Energy Dustin plays, but it can't be too many. He might want to retreat to Yanmega if he can. If he had a Psychic Energy, that would be the perfect thing to do. Otherwise, he's just going to have to Foul Play. Copy Sonic Boom, I would think. It's a pretty straightforward plan for Dustin at this point. It's just a matter of can he execute it. Does he have enough time? Does he have enough resources? And for the time, I would say yes. Matthew has 3 prizes left. So he's basically got 3 turns to pull his plan off. The resources are the question. Does he have the Psychic Energy to get into the discard pile? Does he have the Jirachi? If he does have the Jirachi, does he have enough energy to de-evolve multiple Pokemon? This turn, we're going to see him probably put this Yanmega at 70 damage. In that case, he's going to have, what, 2 Magnezones on the Yanmega, both heavily damaged. And there we go. There's Foul Play for Sonic Boom. We'll have to see where Matthew goes from here. You know, he's got the Yanmega, benches another Yanma. At this point, you have to think he would go for some Lost Burn knockouts. That seems like the best bet. You know, he could Lost Burn the active Zoroark, he could Catcher out the Yanmega, Lost Burn it. Alright, so we will see a Catcher. He's bringing out that Yanmega. See, Zoroark can only copy the active Pokemon's attacks, so if he gets that Magnezone Prime up there, starts using Lost Burn. Oh, and there's a Judge, so this could be a real game changer. At this point, Dustin has probably gone through a bunch of supporters. We've seen him play plenty of Copycats, plenty of Oak's New Theories. There's a Sharon on top of the deck. Seen him play Juniper, and you know, he just might not have many supporters left. And if that's the case, he could just run out of fuel. Magnezone could just Lost Burn straight on to victory. So, at this point, Dustin's deck doesn't exactly look too big either. And we're going to see Matthew get up to 6 after a magnetic draw, I would hope. You know, if he had a plus power, this would be the time to use it. He's going to be able to Lost Burn for a knockout either way. And we'll see what exactly he does. So, he's going to get 2 more cards. I would assume he doesn't play plus power because he does play that Kingdra Prime. Okay, so we're going to see Lost Burn for the knockout. Now, he does have that 1 energy on Yanmega still. And it looks like time has been called. So, Dustin's going to be on a little bit of a clock here. He will be turn 1, meaning he is down a prize. So, Matthew will be turn 2, and then Dustin will be the 3rd turn. And if Dustin does not tie the game or win by that point, Matthew will be declared the winner because he'll just have more prizes taken. And that'll be it. Time has been called. You have until +3 turns to even the score. Otherwise, you lose the game. So right now, Dustin did just get judged. So his hand, probably not the greatest. You know, he might have drawn a supporter off of his 4 cards. We're going to have to see. He's played a bunch of supporters like I mentioned already. There is a Pokegear in his discard pile though. He could junk arm for that if he needs to. And there's a Copycat, which is great. So right now he's only got Cleffa, Zoroark with a double colorless, and a Zoroark with nothing. So it's not looking good. He doesn't really have any way to mount any offense straightforwardly. But, you know, there's those 3 Pokemon on the bench. They all have enough damage where Jirachi would knock them all out. Oof, this is getting close. Matthew's only got 2 prizes left, if my eyes don't deceive me. So, he's going to get a Lost Burn next turn for sure. And he's going to get, well, what? He's going to get a Lost Burn. He'll have 1 energy left. Yeah, he'll be able to Lost Burn for 2 more prizes, no problem, as long as the energy's left in his deck. And I saw at least 2 energy in his hand, so I'm sure he's got enough to finish the game out. So this is really scary for Dustin. He doesn't have much of an option at this point. Looks like he's thinking about it. You know, there is no time left in the round. There's just these extra turns, so he's going to take his time, think about it. He knows there's only 2 turns left for him. So we can see there's probably about 10, 15 cards left in his deck, if that. And he's really thinking about it. There must be something in his hand that he's contemplating. I know he hasn't ended his turn yet. You see that little 1 on the white die next to Dustin's Cleffa, signifying that he is the first turn of time. Like I said, there's no real way for him to take a prize easily. The only real thing he has left is Jirachi. Zoroark is not good against Magnezone. It takes you 3 energy to copy Lost Burn and knock out Magnezone. That's 3 energy cards. Double colorless energy only counts as 1 energy when using Lost Burn. So it's going to be tough. See, Dustin's really thinking through his options. You know, the only way he's going to be able to use Jirachi is if he gets a Psychic energy in his discard pile. So maybe he has one in his hand and he's thinking it through. Not really sure. But we'll see soon, I think. He's taking a look through his discard pile, taking a look through Matthew's discard pile. He knows there's a lot on the line. He does not want to screw this up. The game is in reach, but how does he pull it off? It's tough. So he's just thinking through all of his moves, maybe seeing how many catchers his opponent has used. It could be a big deal if Cleffa were to stay asleep. And waiting on it. I'm waiting on it. I might use Eek. Thinking about it. Alright. Still sitting there. Has not made a decision yet. It looks like he does want to Eek. But he also wants to play something first. Puts a Psychic. Alright, he puts a Psychic on his Zoroark that already has a double colorless on it. And from here, we're going to see what happens. It's going to be really close. Alright, so it looks like Dustin did decide to Eek. Oof, we're going into turn 2 of time. It'll be Matthew's turn. Now we saw Dustin put that Psychic Energy onto the Zoroark that already had an energy on it. Now, why would he decide to do that? Well, if Matthew were to catch or something, assuming Cleffa stays asleep here, if he were to catch or something, it would probably be that Zoroark with the Psychic on it, because that's where all the energy is. That's the big threat on the field, and oof, Cleffa does stay asleep. And right off the bat, we're going to see Junk Arm from Matthew. Now, Dustin wants that Psychic to go into the discard pile. That way Jirachi can get it back with Stardust Song, and wow, Matthew walks right into it. This could be big. We're going to see Lost Burn for a knockout. I have no doubt about that. And that's going to be, oof, very close. I'm not sure why he decided to remove that, that energy, but I guess he wants to save his Yanmega. And look, we have Jirachi. Stardust Song, we get a heads on the power. We have a Psychic on Jirachi. Now we just need double colorless for the win. Wow, all this is happening so quickly. So right now we're gonna have Dustin Junk Arm. Let's see what he grabs. And you can see Dustin is excited, nervous. Alright, we're gonna see Pokegear. Looking through his top 7. Desperately trying to find a supporter. At this point, it's double colorless for the win. Alright, so he plays another Junk Arm, getting another Pokegear. And he did not get a supporter off that first one. Wow. Could he actually be out of supporters? That would be devastating. The win is right in front of him. He knows it's there. Ugh. Coming down to the wire. So it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, we got a Charon. Ugh. This is as close as it gets. He's going to have 3 cards. If he can hit a double colorless, he'll win the game. Otherwise, you know, it looks like Matthew's hand was pretty good. And I'm sure he'll find a way to knock out that Cleffa. So this is it. Dustin Charon for 1, no, 2, no, 3. Oh, it's a double colorless. And that is going to be the game. A miracle top deck from Dustin Zimmerman. Wow. Haven't seen too many of those. And we're going to see a time hollow for 3 prizes to finish the game. You can see Dustin is extremely excited. Cannot believe that just happened. Does not get any closer than that. And wow, definitely deserves to be 7-0 after this one. A devastating loss from Matthew. You know, you're that close. Your opponent's revealing the top 3 cards of his deck, and that third one is the nail in the coffin that gets you. So, definitely a very close game. Congratulations to Dustin for pulling out that extremely close win. Man, that's just a miracle if I've ever seen one. And heartbreaker for Matthew, but you know, he's still 6-1. He's still in the tournament. He's gonna make Top Cut no matter what. But man, that's gotta be an ego crusher there. You know, you're so close to winning, and then little Jirachi gets you then. So, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the game. This is a really fun game. Came right down to the wire. That miracle top deck for Dustin saved it for him, and he's gonna move on to 7-0. We'll be back with more games from Indiana Regionals. We have the last round of Swiss, in addition to some more Top Cut games. So stay tuned. We'll have some of those up soon. I've been Pooka, and I'll see you guys next time.